Hello, and welcome to the Reintroduction of You. Whether it's your first time or you're returning, I just want to thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with me today. Today, I'm going to do something that I honestly think is going to be fun, at least fun for me. And I am actually going to compare a designer perfume with its supposed dupe. I had heard a lot because I've been doing deep dives about perfume, and I had heard so much about Bianco Latte, and I was just like, it can't smell nearly as good as everyone makes it seem, because what I can tell you is that so many times perfumes have been hyped up by people, and then I go to smell it and I'm like, you know, I'm talking to you, perfumes de Marley, Rosé, blah blah such and such. Yeah, it was terrible. I was halfway to work. I had to come back and take a shower again and change my clothes. I hated that one so much, but I digress. But I'd heard a lot about this Bianco Latte, and then I heard that there was a dupe that was coming out by Lattafa called Eclaire. So I bought the Eclaire first. I smelled it and I really liked it, but I'm always curious how close it is to the original. I bought a sample size of the original Bianco Latte. Now, what I will tell you is that, just as a side note, if you want to test perfumes before you commit to a full bottle, there are so many websites that will decant for you, meaning they will take the original bottle and they'll spray some. So like here, there's my Bianco Latte here. They'll spray some in 3 milliliter bottle, 5 milliliter bottle, 10 milliliter bottle. And that way you can try it before you buy it. I have found that there have been a few times that I went into a store, sprayed a perfume, thought I was in love with it. And then after a few wears, I'm like, yeah, I'm not in love with this anymore. So this is a good way to really not just get hype off the original smell, but to see how it wears, how it feels, if you really, really are into it. So as an aside, if you want to try perfumes first, then I would suggest you get decants. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm kind of excited about this. I'm excited to be doing a video again. It's been a long time. But perfumes have been like really on my radar recently, so I figured I'd share this with you as well. All right, so Bianco Latte. So first, let's talk about the notes of Bianco Latte, because that's important to know. Just because you gotta know. For Bianco Latte, the top note is caramel or caramel, if you fancy pants. The middle notes are coumarin and honey. And then the base notes are vanilla and white musk. So top notes is what you smell immediately as soon as you spray it on your skin. Middle notes is, I believe, what kind of lingers around the 20-30 minute mark. And then base notes is what actually is kind of lingering and most prominent after it dries down. You're talking like an hour or so at that point. So top notes, middle notes, base notes. I didn't know what that was at first, but I've learned about it. And that doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to smell any top note after the dry down. It just means that that's the one that's like most forward, if that makes sense. I am going to spray Bianco Latte on my right side. I'm gonna put it on my hand. Oh shoot, I sprayed my face. Who does that? All right, so when I first smell it, I'm getting definitely some caramel. It's really sharp to me. The caramel, they're caramel. I keep saying caramel while I was being a smart ass earlier. The caramel is really what stands out to me. I'm gonna spray another one because I think I didn't get me a good spray on there. Okay, that's good. All right. The other thing is that I noticed about the Bianco Latte is that it has some kind of smoke to it, if that makes sense. It's something that just kind of tickles my nostril hairs. I guess that's the caramel, but I'm not sure. But it's something that feels kind of heavy, dense or whatever, because this is one that I don't enjoy it until it fully dries down. But anyway, so let's talk about the Lattafa. Lattafa Eclaire has been touted as a Really close dupe for Bianco Latte. Lattafa is a Middle Eastern house. They have made lots of great perfumes, and they've made, a few pretty solid dupes. So I like Lattafa, and it's a heck of a lot less expensive. Now, Middle Eastern perfumes, there are some expensive ones, but for the most part, the ones that are pretty popular, they might run you anywhere between $25 to maybe $55. And we're talking for almost 3 ounces of perfume juice. The other thing is that the bottles are always really pretty, just ornate. Like you could just put this on after it's empty, it'll still be nice for decoration. So this is the Eclaire by Lattafa, a very heavy bottle. And then I am going to spray on Lattafa on the left hand. Oh, why do I keep doing that? Okay. Nice, good spray. Now, for the notes of Lattafa's Eclaire, the top notes are caramel, milk, and sugar. The middle notes are honey and white flowers. It's not specifically iris, lily of the valley, gardenia. It just says white flowers. And then the base notes are vanilla, praline, and musk. So there's a few differences here. At the top, there's the milk and sugar that wasn't in the Bianco Latte. The middle notes are actually pretty much the same. And then the base notes, it looks like that Lattafa has praline where Bianco Latte didn't. So first spray, this is super sharp. So this is, to me, the first spray on this one is that smoke that I was talking about. It's super heavy, almost like it's sitting in the back of my throat. That's the sharpness that I'm so glad when it finally dies down, because that sharpness, which I imagine is the caramel, because that's the thing that these two have in common, that caramel sharpness is just, it's a lot. But anyway, that's how it smells. I also can kind of smell the milk in here, not so much the sugar, but I do get a little bit of a lactonic smell from the milk at the top. So we're going to come back in like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, and we'll talk about the middle notes. All right, so it's been about 20-25 minutes. So let's talk about middle notes. The Lattafa still has a lot of that sharpness, that caramel sharpness that I'm smelling off of it, but it's dying down, but it's definitely still there. The Bianco Latte, that sharpness is almost gone, and now I'm just getting the sweetness from the honey, like it's very honey sweet, syrupy leaning right now. Now, granted, I did spray them a few minutes apart, but at this point, both of them should be in that strong middle note area. So yeah, and I experienced this before when I kind of tested them. The Eclaire just seems to kind of stay dense for longer. So anyway, that is talking about the middle notes. And so we will come back in another maybe 30 or 40 minutes and talk about the dry down. All right, so it has now been about an hour since I sprayed both the Bianco Latte and the Lattafa Eclaire. So let's talk about these base notes, because at this point, the base notes are what are really, really coming through. So Lattafa, let's start here. Lattafa has vanilla, praline, musk. I can honestly smell most components of that. I'm not getting, I don't know, it's strange. I'm not getting as much praline, because when I think praline, I think nutty, but I mean like a sweetie nutty, and I'm not really picking that up, but it has mellowed out. That really sharp caramel smell is almost gone. Like this, I could deal with this, no problem. And it does smell good. It smells yummy. It smells, I mean, almost all of the things that they noted here are what you would put in a cookie. I mean, seriously, it just smells so yummy. To me, this is a fragrance that I probably would wait till the fall or winter to wear. But it's a nice fragrance, and in the end, do what you want to do. Okay, if you want to wear it when it's 114 degrees outside. That's your business and your business alone. But for me, I probably will wait till winter to actually wear this fragrance. So Bianco Latte. Now here, I just like, ooh, I had to swallow it, made my mouth water. Here I'm picking up a lot of that vanilla, and it's just sweet. It's super sweet, and it's not cloying. It's not like, ugh, it's not like syrupy, sappy sweet, but it definitely is sweeter, and that caramel sharpness is completely gone. So yeah, it's just all this lingering. It's just like yumminess. Now that we talked about all the notes, what are my thoughts in terms of how close of a match Lattafa Eclaire is for Bianco Latte? So I would say Eclaire is about 94% dupe of the Bianco Latte. My preference is actually for the Bianco Latte. Now, the only reason why my preference is for the Bianco Latte is because all of that sharp caramel note is gone, and all that I'm left with is that sweetness. For the Eclaire, that sharp note doesn't always, for the Eclaire, that sharp note of caramel never really completely goes away. It's just not as I'm caramel, so it's not as bad, but and it's not really bad at all once it dries down. It's just that I still get a little smidge of it, and I really am not a fan of that sharper note. So Bianco Latte does not have that sharp note at all. Eclaire has this smidge of that sharp note, so that's the reason why it is that I prefer the Bianco Latte. However, if you are not in the market for a $200 fragrance, Lattafa Eclaire is going to get you what you need. So I would absolutely recommend Lattafa Eclaire if for some reason you are not a fan of the Bianco Latte, or you can't afford the Bianco Latte, because we don't do shaming here about what people can and cannot afford. Even if you can't afford it, you might not just want to buy it. But yeah, so Lattafa Eclaire, you can find on Amazon. I also believe it's on the Lattafa site. I think this bottle was about $50. The Bianco Latte, I think it's running about $190. I'll put the price up. And this can be purchased at a lot of the finer department stores, like your Nordstrom's, your Neiman's, your Saks, so on. All right, so the last thing that I want to know is if there are any dupes that you think are really, really close to the original. So close that you're like, I don't even need the original now. I'm curious to know. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. Let me know what the original is and what the dupe is and what you think about it, because there are so many brands that do dupes of our most popular fragrances, and some of them are dead on. Honestly, there are some that you can't at all tell the difference in the top, the middle, or the base. So yeah, but anyway, that's it for me today. If you have any comments, suggestions, or you just want to say hello, you know to do it below. But otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.